Hey guys, Dinosaur Magic here, and I finally built it, the Christmas Rage deck. It's of course enrage with primarily dinosaurs. It's not really a dino tribal because there is one card that references dinosaurs. That's it. They just all by sheer coincidence happen to be dinosaurs. Well, not really coincidence. It's the dinosaurs mechanic. But nothing says, oh, dinos cost one less for every dinosaur. Whenever a dinosaur enters the battlefield, whenever a dinosaur dies, like there's none of that. So I wouldn't really call this a tribal deck. It's a coincidental tribal deck. It's a mechanic deck is what it is. Now it's primarily just like things that trigger enrage and then enrage. That's it. There is nothing else in here. I tried doing like a what was it, like a go fetch deck with one Galta and then 4 of the fetchers where I can put it on the top, and then I tried like free casting. It didn't work. You really do need this. And as synergistic as this looks with like, oh, spells, enrage, cool, that's all the deck does, I'll never have a problem. No, it's lands, spells, enrage. So it's just like, you know, boost spells and heroic back in the day. You go 16 boost spells, 20 heroic, and 20 some lands, and then maybe like 2 whatever, who knows. Didn't really always match up. You ran the risk of going 100% heroic or 100% spells with your draws, and then also land is the third category because it's 1/3 of your deck. So it's 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. I commonly call them 20-20-20 decks. They're not as good as they look. They're never as good as they look. So just watch out for that. Remember, this could backfire. But the difference with Enrage is, well, let's just say a better way to build a deck is, instead of card-to-card combo, where you have to wait for 2 cards to match up for it to do something, it's mechanic or card and something that's already naturally going to happen in the game. So enter the battlefield, you know, creature effect, graveyard, you know, just whatever. You interact with something that would normally happen, so it's not really a card-card combo. Well, Enrage, I mean, you block, you swing, you take damage, they hit you with a damaging spell, it goes off. So you could go an entire match without drawing any of these spells at all. So anyway, let's get into the singles. All right, the land is pretty obvious. Rootbound Crag, it's a single check land. These are amazing. I love them. Then we got Sheltered Thicket. It's cycling, which you will actually kind of need late game. And I'd say you don't miss it early game, but the whole damn deck costs like 4 and under, so you do. Then we got Mountains and Forests. So it is what it is. Those are what the lands are. So next up, Dual Shot. I don't like this because if you look up the ruling, because I mean the way it's worded, it's confusing. It says Dual Shot deals 1 damage to each of up to 2 target creatures. So if you look up the ruling, you cannot deal 2 damage to 1 target, even if it's the only valid target. So it's not true removal. That's why I only have 2. And it's like you'd already have to have 2 enraged creatures on the battlefield and not ones with 1 toughness. So it's a little narrow, and I mean, you could take out a 3/1 that the opponent has, or you could like stack on extra damage after combat, or just whatever you want to do to kind of mess with it. It's just kind of weak. But it's, you know, it's 1 mana instant. So speaking of 1 mana and an instant, now we've got a card. 4 damage to target creature you don't control for 1. That's better than a lightning bolt, except that you can't hit the player with it. Yeah, I mean, this is on par with Roast. Roast was 5 damage to any non-flying creature for 1. And that actually, I feel like that was a sorcery even. I'm not sure. But either way, I mean, the backside, the downside to this is 2 damage to target creature you don't control. Yes, they're both mandatory. Yes, you have to have 2 targets to cast this. So, I mean, but still, 4 damage for 1 at instant speed. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. You could do this in response to a creature like receiving counters, and then on the stack, boom, it's gone. The only problem is this is obviously 4 enrage. It doesn't really work all that well in any other deck unless all your creatures have 3 toughness. And even then, good luck swinging with it because damage doesn't wear off until the end of turn. Don't forget that. But, you know, a lot of stuff over here will survive it. Ranging Raptors, that's a 2/3. You gotta, well, that's a 2/2. I mean, it's rough. I just like it. You might even want to go 3 Dual Shot, 3 Reckless. I should mention, this deck list is not done by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not saying that this is the ideal version of it. I just tested it, tweaked it a little bit, and I'm like, okay, people got to be building stuff before next Friday. Although theoretically next Friday is a draft day. So maybe you won't have to have something constructed, especially since these cards don't come out till Friday morning. But, you know, still, I'm giving you guys like 13 days to build this if you like it. And building a deck you saw on the internet is not net decking. I know, counterintuitive. Net decking is copying a tournament results page and building those decks because in your mind you think that that's the best deck in the world and you want the highest chance of winning, both of which are complete and utter fallacies. So yeah, nobody leave the snarky comment, oh, but if we copied this deck, aren't we net decking? No, that's not how it works. That's just called I don't want to build a deck or I don't have any ideas right now. So that's fine. Next up, Rile. I mean, obviously, it's a cantrip. It's pretty weak. I don't like it because it says it deals 1 damage to target creature you control. You cannot just do 1 damage to target creature you don't control. So that's annoying. It does gain trample until end of turn. I almost always forget about that. The creature gains trample and then you draw a card. So 1 mana, it replaces itself. Yeah, it's a sorcery, but are you really going to do it off your turn? I don't think that's a big thing. And it's basically just, trigger enrage on something for 1, and then it's a free spell, basically, because you instantly replace it. So I really do like that. Next up, Prey Upon, because you're going to need some removal. I mean, you can't just expect that mid-sized dinosaurs are going to be able to swing away every turn, and you don't want to do nothing but trades, because you'll run out of creatures. There are only 20 creatures in this entire deck. And I might up that a hair, but it seemed proper so far. But Prey Upon is a force fight for 1. I mean, that's it. Now, here's the thing. There is one that costs 2 that's instant speed, and there's no difference whatsoever. Then there's one that costs 3 that puts a counter on it and grants it trample and then force fight. It's obviously the Cartouche. And then there's a 4 cost that drops a counter on and then force fights. At instant speed. And I think there's like 3 others. It's like, what the hell? How much force fighting do we need to do? So just look it up if you want it to be instant speed because that's a little bit better and you don't care about the 2 mana as opposed to 1 because this is a little rampy with ranged in it and all the card draw. Yeah, you might be able to replace this, but I just like doing it for 1. I mean, 1 versus 2 is very significant. It's half the mana, obviously. Next up, love this card. I love it. Love it, love it. Enchant creature for, I mean, I feel like this should be double red, but, dinosaurs are 3 colors, so I get it. And then when it enters the battlefield, deals 1 damage to enchanted creature. Boom, enrage. And then from then on, for the entire rest of the game or until the permanent gets destroyed, plus 3 attack and trample. I get why they didn't +1 the toughness, because that would completely negate the 1 damage. That would be a little bit OP. But, excuse me, I like it. I mean, if you put it on a 2/3 and then you're like, oh crap, I can't swing now because he only has 2 remaining toughness. And if they block, damage does not wear off until the end of turn, remember? So you commonly can't swing the turn that you bring this out. But if you throw it onto a creature that has summoning sickness anyway, no big deal. So yeah, I mean, it's good. It's just a good spell. But I only got 3 of it in there because it actually 1 damage kind of kills some stuff. Let's just put it that way. Like, for example, Raptor Hatchling. I do like this one, though, because it just kind of, like, transforms. It's almost like a morph. I mean, it is legally a new permanent when the 3/3 green dinosaur comes out. But there's also a trick you can do with this. But basically, I'll just read the card here. So it's 1/1 for 2, and enrage when it's dealt damage, create a 3/3 green dinosaur creature token with trample. So you damage it, Mama shows up. Love the artwork. It's hilarious. And plus, he's adorable. Look at him. He's so cute. So the trick with him is, well, 1, don't put Tilonallis on him because he'll die. So the trick with this is Savage Stomp. It's basically always going to cost 1 green because if you control a dinosaur, or no, if it targets a dinosaur, whatever, it's gonna target a dinosaur. Put a 1/1 counter on it first, and then it fights a target creature you don't control. So if you can make this hit something with 1 attack power while it has a 1/1 counter on it, you'll get the 3/3 green dinosaur creature token, and this won't die. Then you can hit it with Rile later, like not the same turn, or it will die. Boom, you get another 3/3, but he's still there. Then you hit him with dual shot. He's still there, but you get another 3/3, and the token is trample. So that's a little fun trick for you. Don't forget about that one. I did not realize this deck did this until I was playtesting it. But otherwise, I mean, it's just, you have to kill it twice, kind of. So I basically consider it a 3/3 for 2 with Undying or whatever. So it's pretty good. Next up, Ranging Raptors. Love this card because it's just so good. It does cost 3, but at least it's not double color or anything. And it's a 2/3, so it could soak up some damage. You can hit it twice with enrage, and honestly, probably still swing with it if you really wanted, if you wanted to get it killed at that point. Because 2 damage is like whatever. But basically, if it's dealt damage, you may search your library for any basic land card, put it directly onto the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle. So, yeah, I've gotten like 6 lands off of one of these before. I mean, it's outrageous how good this card is. So it helps you get up to the high cost, and it lets you bring out a dinosaur and, hit it with enrage, like an enrage trigger at the same time, while you couldn't have swung with it anyway, which is really nice. So having 6 or 7 mana, very, very, very nice. Savage Stomp, I'll already show what this does. You drop a counter on it, it fights. I love the counter because it helps it not die, and you get the counter for the entire rest of the game. So there you go. That's why I'm thinking about Prey Upon making that like the 3 cost that drops a counter, but I don't know. That Cartouche is awfully damn good. It's just going from 1 to 3 is kind of significant, but still a counter. I mean, I'd have 2 tricks with the Raptor then. That'd be kind of hilarious. You could also fight like a 0/4 just as a dummy trigger, leave the counter on him, and then hit him with enrage every single turn. So next up, Frilled Deathspitter, as seen on Jurassic Park 1. Let's see. Whenever it's dealt damage, it deals 2 damage to target opponent, and it only has 2 toughness. I don't love it, but it's a 3 cost enrage creature, and it isn't double red, and it does 3 damage if you hit the person. And there is a buttload of removal in this deck between dual shot and just like forcing them to block or they're going to lose because they're at 7 life. Just whatever. They tend to not have very many creatures on their battlefield. So this can kind of get away. And 3 damage for 3, I mean, that's pretty good. It's hard to find a whole lot better than that. Next up, Needletooth. I love this thing because it's just so great, but it's only a 2/2, so it's like super fragile. This card alone makes me want to drop Prey Upon and put in the counter-based one. Or just even, instead of force fighting, just a card that perpetually drops counters, but the only one I know of is completely off color. But anyway, when it is dealt damage, it deals 5 freaking damage to target creature an opponent controls. So in other words, free removal. I mean, there is like no way that this is not removal. So this is nuts. It's absolutely crazy. But I only put in 3 because then, okay, you removed a bunch of their stuff. Oh, and you're swinging for 2 every turn for 4 mana. I mean, that's definitely bad. Very, very bad. But recurring removal, I mean, that's not bad. Not at all. So it's in the middle, but I love it. It's just so useful when it comes out. Next up, we got Raging Regisaur. It's a 4/4 for 4, and it's mixed color. That's kind of cool, actually. And whenever it attacks, it deals 1 damage to target creature or player. So this is one of your creatures, which is lovely, or one of their creatures, which can mess with combat, obviously, or them personally if you think you're getting blocked, or if you just want to deal 5 damage instead of 4. I mean, it's just so many options. And I have used it to like hit a Ripjaws, 4 or 5, they're both swinging, and then boom, I hit them, draw a card, and then it's like another spell, it's like dual shot, and then I hit that, deal 2 damage to one of their, or 2 of their creatures, and then they can't block, and I'm hitting them with both of these. So it's just like this cascading thing. In fact, it's quite literally similar to Cascade if you think about it, but I only have 1 in there because I just had to pull them to get the cost down. I was having a whole like get to 3 or lose, because I mean, look, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4. So, yeah, it's heavy. It's definitely heavy. So I had to get the 1, 2, 3 going, so I had to pull a couple Ragings. I mean, it is what it is. Also, I needed more Force Fight. A lot of them went to Prey Upon. But since, these lower-end creatures are kind of weak, I really, really think that I should try it with, instead of Prey Upon the 3 cost. I think it would probably be worth it. But the problem is then it's a 3 cost. If I get stuck at 2, I mean, this deck does almost nothing. So I don't know. Might just add some land. It is only 21 land. I think 22 would help too. But either way, last one, Ripjaw Raptor, 4/5. This is the number 1 best enrager in the game. I mean, there's better ones that cost like 7, but come on, you're really going to get them out. Like there's one where it's a target opponent sacrifices a creature or a permanent or something every time it's hit. Yeah, you hit that a couple times, you win. So yeah, I mean, 5 toughness. You can't really get better than that. I mean, just as a creature, a 4/5 for 4 is pretty damn good. And then also enrage, draw a card. So this is the engine that keeps your deck going. The whole deck caps at 4 mana, so it's kind of reasonable. with this deck, I would keep a weak opening hand with 3 mana just because I'm almost to 4, and then just okay, turn 4 we're gonna go, especially if I'm going first. So that is nice that there's no 5, 6, 7, 8. But if you wanted to really long shot it, you really wanted to lean on your rangings, or you wanted to put in some other kind of ramp like that guy who grants haste to a dinosaur. I think he can tap for any color mana and also reduces their cost or something like that. I feel like I'm mixing 2 cards together, but there are other options is what I'm saying. So yeah, that's all there is to it. And then the only thing is the sideboard. I put in Heaven. Heaven to Earth, actually, because Earth is a mass enrage trigger. So that's kind of cool. But otherwise, yeah, just totally nuke the flyers. The only other thing I would put in is probably, in case of like massive tokens or having to kill stuff twice, just more Force Fight. And that, I would take out Rile and take out Dual Shot probably, and just put in like 5 more Force Fight cards, just so that I'm doing like nothing but fighting, and then I'm still getting enraged triggers in a roundabout way. So if I had to clear out a whole bunch of 1/1 or 2/2 tokens like zombies or servos or something, that would probably be a good thing to sideboard against. And coincidentally, Heaven to Earth will take out those types of decks too. So it all kind of works. It's a single purpose sideboard, but I usually leave the sideboard up to you guys completely. Because it should be about your local meta. It should be whatever you personally need to beat. So, I'm going to throw up a couple of gameplay videos of this. I played it against some humans, against some AI, and the humans are just slow as hell and aggravate me, and you don't want to watch a 40-minute match, and I didn't want to play a 40-minute match, but that's what we were doing, because people are apparently all cooking a 7-course dinner while watching Netflix while playing X-Mage. I mean, I can click fast. I don't know why they can't. But whatever. I'll just throw up like 3 games in a row against the AI, so you can just kind of see how this works, what to cast when, how the cards interact. Not that it can win, just here's how to play it, which is why I constantly play against the AI, because the AI is an idiot and it plays at light speed basically. So watch for that, and I'll see you guys next video.